Welcome back to the weekly news roundup and the SillyVille edition. Before we dive on in, you can have a look at my affiliates page, switchedtolinux.com/affiliates, in order to check out all the different affiliate links that we have. If you're looking for any types of services, check out a link over there. Sometimes you get discounts, like on Pro Writing Aid. Sometimes you just get great services, and anything you use for the affiliate links will help support the channel. Let's dive on into the silly news, shall we? U.S. Secret Service releases information about a massive fraud against state unemployment and insurance programs in light of the COVID-19 shutdowns. Who are these amazing scammers? The Nigerians, of course! Who else would it possibly be? Yes, the states and even the federal government have indeed fallen prey and lost hundreds of millions of dollars to the Nigerian scammers. And we want to place more power with the government? These people can't wipe their butt without getting it on their hands. This is insane, people. This is insane. So a memo seen by Krebs on Security Secret Service circulated the field offices around the United States on Thursday, says a ring has been filing unemployment claims in different states using social security numbers and other personally identifiable information belonging to identity theft victims, and that a substantial amount of fraudulent benefits submitted used personally identifiable information from first responders, government personnel, and school employees. The saddest thing about all this, people, is that all of us, I kid you not, all of us, unless you are probably 20 years and younger, are going to be susceptible to this in the United States because of Equihacks, who, by the way, still did not have to pay out a penny for leaking every American's data. All of those people need to be flogged in the town square with like wet noodles or something for a long time. Or maybe something more severe. I don't know. But anyway, they're using this information to assume the fraud ring behind the possesses a substantial private personally identifiable information database to submit the volume of applications observed thus far. The Secret Service warned the primary state target so far is Washington, although there's also evidence of attacks in North Carolina, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Oklahoma, Florida, and the two guys living in Wyoming. The Secret Service said the fraud network is believed to consist of 100 mules. So a mule is basically somebody who is carrying information back and forth. Let's see, willing or unwilling. So let's see. See if there's any more information. I don't know, but it's kind of funny. It's all traced back to a Nigerian ring. So yes, even the federal government is being scammed by the Nigerians and losing money to it. How exciting! How exciting! Yeah, let's just get back to work so we can stop getting government handouts. All right. A high-throughput plasmonic tongue uses an aberration assay and non-specific interactions to classify the taste profiles of maple syrup. This might be the coolest science article I may have ever seen, people. All right, so this is actually from Analytical Methods. I like this. I like my old analytical chemistry stuff. So they're basically utilizing a system to check the purity of maple syrup. That's their entire process. So a lot of funding went into this, apparently, and a lot of research and a lot of other things. And basically what they're doing is, hey, let's go ahead and dip this guy in. And they're looking for different markers of different types of chemicals and different concentrations, probably based on feeding it a lot of good syrups, bad syrups by human comparison, human standards, feeding all that database in, and then mapping the different profiles. That's probably how they pulled this off, but definitely an interesting thing. I'm going to ask, I have some friends who do maple syrup processing. I'm going to ask them if this is actually a problem that needed to be solved, or if this is just, holy crap, what are people doing? But I'm curious. If you guys make maple syrup, let me know. All right. Oh, come on. My stuff's still out of order. All right. Here we are. The poop alert. The sewage can signal impending bursts of COVID cases. This is a really crappy article, isn't it? So what they're doing here is they were actually going down and measuring for viral loads inside of sewers. And what they were able to show, allegedly, is that you would see here in the red line indicated the concentration in the sludge, and the black line indicated the epidemiology. And you can see that it's actually tracing pretty well. Now, it's limited in that where and how do you collect it. So in this case, they're probably just collecting, the county's collection pool versus the county's epidemiological pool. And the idea here, though, is that if you could map out and isolate individual key villages, sections of town, then you could actually trace and identify where patches happen to be at even before a major spike is, based on the premise that the virus has, by the way, not 14, but only an average of 5 to 7 day incubation, which is exactly what it is. So no, this virus, stop going around saying this virus has a 14-day incubation period. No, that's what we initially thought on initial models without any data. The data's in. 5 is the mean. 5 is the mean time. Most people show illness signs within, I think it's 3 to 7 is the actual range. 5 is the median. So, But anyway, if you could spot this, you could say, hey, we've seen a spike in this section of town, so let's locally quarantine this portion of town for a brief period, because we can't go in and map everybody's, excuse me, I'd like to shove this up your rectum once a day to figure out if you're the one. We can't do that. That's a little too invasive. But what we could do is isolate out individual regions, say, hey, this neighborhood, higher risk, this neighborhood's just fine. And we could actually, in theory, do something like that, although that'd be a really crappy job. But not for something with this level of effect. And on to our final story of the day. A company is selling allegedly a $350 anti-5G USB stick. In reality, it's a 128 megabyte USB drive. I really want to know where they found 128 megabyte USB drives. I haven't seen a 128 megabyte USB drive in over a decade. Over a decade. In fact, I think it was over 15 years is the last time that I saw USB drives that small. And so I'm really curious where they got these. But the company is 5G BioShield. They're actually using Cloudflare, or what, are they concerned that somebody might actually treat them seriously or something? And what I found most hilarious is looking at the FAQs. There was one of these that was just hilarious. Let's see, does it need charge? No. Let's see, where was it at? There was one of these was just hilarious. Okay, how does one know if the 5G BioShield USB key is on and working? It is always on and working. That's why we use quantum nano layer technology. I see there's a USB connector. What is it for? This is a real USB key. It protects and informs at the same time. You will find master file explaining the basics of this technology, and you can load information as well as other files if you want. It's a USB key. Let's see. Is it more protective if you plug it into a battery pack when you're on the go, as just opposed to carrying it in your pocket without being plugged into a power source? No, it is not more protective. It's a matter of intensity of protection, but rather the radius of protection. 8 meter sphere is more than enough to protect someone when on the street. Does it feel more powerful closer to the unit or within that bubble? It operates through a quantum field that is not inhibited by matter. The integrity of the field effect is the same within the bubble. If people are actually giving this company money, I'll tell you what. I happen to have some oceanfront property in Montana I'd like to sell you. So, yeah, I'm on the side that I don't think 5G should be pushed out as quickly. We are definitely lacking studies. We need to know more about it. We need to solve the weather problem, the GPS problem, and a few of the other things. But would I say, hey, we need to get ourselves a BioShield? What the hell are you talking about? There's nothing about this that is even sound science. Now, one of the things I'll comment in here in the article, there's no scientific evidence to suggest 5G is harmful to flocks of birds, increases suicide rates, nosebleeds, or it's linked to coronavirus. Let me explain something to you guys. I'm going to get under some of your skins at this point in time. The reason there's no scientific evidence is because there's never been a scientific study about it, and that's what these people's point is. So let's go ahead and put together a good protocol and a good study and do it. It's just like the dietary lipid hypothesis. The lipid hypothesis says that eating fats and cholesterols increases the fat in your bloodstream, and that increases heart attacks. You know how many studies indicate that's true? None. Is there any scientific evidence to say that doesn't happen? Nope, because there aren't any science on that at all anyway. Okay, that is what the anti-5G people are saying. Hey, let's stop and do the research. Because while there is no scientific, I agree, this is a factually accurate statement from The Verge. There is no scientific evidence to suggest it's harmful to flocks or birds, or increases suicide rates, or nosebleeds, or that it's linked to it. No, there's not any scientific evidence because there's never been a scientific study questioning that, and that is what the problem is. Okay, so we do need to slow down with pushing 5G everywhere, but we don't need to be selling gimmicky 128 megabyte drives for $350, claiming that it produces an 8-meter bubble of anti-5G around you, because that is so much utter nonsense, it's not even funny. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.